Hey guys, Kevin here. Today I'd like to show you how to make some fabulous French cookies called Merveilles. Merveille is the French word for marvel or miracle. And believe me, these orange-scented, crisply deep-fried cookies are both marvelous and miraculous. They're also insanely delicious. My grandmother used to make them every year at Christmas time, and I, as a child, always ate way too many of them. The cookie dough is extremely easy to make. First, tip 1 cup of all-purpose flour into a medium bowl. Then add a ½ teaspoon baking powder and a ¼ teaspoon salt, which I've mixed together in this little ramekin, and whisk them together. Done. Then, in a medium bowl, add 3 tablespoons of regular granulated sugar and the zest of 1 large navel orange. And I've already started zesting mine. I hope you have one of these nifty zesting gadgets. And then use your fingers to blend the orange zest and the sugar together until the sugar becomes beautifully scented with orange. Then add 1 tablespoon of room temperature butter and use a spatula to mash the butter into the scented sugar. What we're doing is making a paste, and then use the back of a knife to just scrape off all of this goodness from your spatula, and then add 1 large beaten egg and 2 tablespoons of French brandy. And I'm using this brandy. It's called Deville. Not too expensive. Brandy because, well, this is a French recipe. And we're going to stir that in. And we are also going to stir in 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And I'm going to switch my spatula for the whisk because this will blend much more easily then. And that's it. Then we add the dry ingredients into the wet and give that a stir. Here again, we'll use the spatula. You could even use your hands to mix this. I'll try to do this very quickly so my video isn't too terribly long. And by the way, I really appreciate you keeping me company in the kitchen. It's so much more fun to cook when you know you have friends around. And look at that, our dough is ready. And here again, I'm just going to scrape off the dough that is stuck to the back of the spatula. Then, let me grab a sheet of plastic wrap, and we're going to pour this dough. Let me fix my plastic wrap, and pour it right onto the plastic. And knead it a little bit. And then just enclose the dough in the plastic and pop this into the fridge for 2 hours or even overnight. We want this to be nice and cold. Okay, my dough is almost finished chilling. So for this next step, take a baking sheet or a large platter and line it with a sheet of plastic wrap. Also, prepare your pastry cloth or throw some flour on your counter. because we're going to roll out the pastry dough. And here's the pastry dough. Actually, it's not pastry dough, it's cookie dough, or more specifically, Merveilles dough. And as you can see, it's got all these beautiful little specks of orange zest. It smells really good. So cut the dough in half and return one half, just wrap it up again, and return that to the refrigerator. I really like this pastry cloth because nothing sticks to it. And what you do is just rub some flour into it. And I probably have too much flour here, but that's okay. And set the dough on top. And I'm going to try to roll this into a fairly neat rectangle, although you can certainly roll it into a freeform shape if you'd like. And I'll sprinkle a little more flour on top. And then fetch your rolling pin. I'm using a French rolling pin. It has this nice tapered shape. And you know what? I'll just roll this into a freeform shape. And you keep flipping the dough so that you get a little bit of flour on each side. And I'll try to roll it out as quickly as possible so I don't bore you to tears. And the goal is to roll this out as thinly as possible. Paper thin, in fact. This dough will be fried. Well, it will be cut into like 1-inch ribbons, and then it will be deep fried. And when it fries, it puffs up so that it's hollow in the center. And we're almost there, folks. I hope you can see all these little specks of orange zest in here. Now, how thin is this? Oh, I could go a little thinner. I've decided I prefer not to edit my videos too much because overly edited videos are very misleading. Especially those videos where they make some elaborate dish in 30 seconds with a lot of little twinkly music in the background. Okay, this is thin enough. So then we want to cut this into, 1-inch strips. And I have a ravioli cutter, but you could just use a knife or you could use a regular pastry or pizza cutter. And let's see, 1-inch strips like this. And mine is sticking to my pastry cutter, but I have a cure. I'm going to dip it in some flour. And also, I think maybe my dough isn't cold enough. Here we go. And what I'm doing is transferring these to the plastic wrap lined baking sheet. Kind of looks like ravioli. Not ravioli, lasagna. And I'll finish cutting these out and then I'll come back. Okay, I've rolled out the first half of the dough, and I'll probably only do that for this video. And I'll roll the second one out later. And now my strips are pretty long, so I'm going to shorten some of them. I want them to be 3.5 to 4 inches in length, although you can cut them really small, like this, where they're only about 2 inches long. It's nice to have a mixture. And then we're going to put another sheet of plastic wrap over this and pop it into the refrigerator again for just 1 hour. So I'll come back. We are about ready to fry our cookies. So pour a couple of inches, 2 to 3 inches of vegetable oil into a heavy pot and insert a candy thermometer. We want to heat this to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, line a platter or a baking sheet with a few thicknesses of paper towels. This way we can drain the cookies. Also, put some confectioner's sugar in a sieve. We're going to be dusting the cookies almost as soon as they come out of the hot oil. So I hope everything is in view for you. My oil is at 350 degrees, and I am going to fry, 3 or 4 of the Merveilles at a time. And I don't know if you can tell, but first they sink to the bottom of the pot, and then they immediately float to the top. And you just let these fry until they turn golden brown. And I have chopsticks here so I can flip them. If you don't have chopsticks, just use a slotted spoon. Here we go. Yeah, these cook very, very quickly. And I'll just do this first batch so you can see. Can you see the golden brown color? And these are ready. As I said, that's just a few seconds. And transfer them to the platter or baking sheet that you lined with paper towels. And then immediately dust them with confectioner's sugar. And probably you can't see this at all. And then flip them over. Well, maybe you can see in the corner. And dust the other side. Yay! And I'll finish these off. And then I'll show you the finished works. Here are the Merveilles, all showered with confectioner's sugar on both sides and still a little warm, which is really when they're at their best, although they're still good at room temperature. And what I like to do is arrange them on a platter. Well, I put some on a platter, and others I stand upright in a clear glass bowl. Actually, this is a stemless wine glass. These are so delicious. I have to try another one. Can you hear that crunch? These are so good. They're really light. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. They're really light, and the orange flavor is definitely pronounced. I forgot to tell you that Merveilles have been around for centuries. So if you like history and cookies too, make yourself a batch of Merveilles today. And I think my grandmother would be very proud of these cookies. And before I eat all of them, let me just remind you to leave a comment below because I love hearing from you. And I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.